Alright, so now we're going to install the ears. The very first thing we have to do is put the axles in. This is our right, this is our left. And we're going to go ahead and install our axles. This has the R on it, so it is the right axle. And you can tell that it's correct when you snap it in. This will go like this, and you'll see the hole for the rangefinder stem right inside that little window on the hub. That is so the screw can pass through there and not obstruct the motion of the hub. And then we're going to put an 8mm screw with a lock washer and a flat washer. I'm guessing that's forward. Ooh, neat. Okay. Alright, and you want to tighten these down enough so that it's not flipping and flopping. The cool thing is you can adjust this from the inside, the helmet, once the ear is installed. Alright, so let's do the other side. Let's get our screw, lock washer, flat washer. And we'll snug this down just a little bit more. We might need a little more torque on that thing. There we go. Cool. This little coned out area here is where that screw is going to end up. And you can see it goes all the way through, so we will be able to access the screw from inside the helmet if we need to tighten or loosen this stem. Now this is why we do these first, because of this. If we put the ear on first, then this thing would be in the way, and it would make it really difficult to get that Chicago screw in. So we made our lives easier and put those on first. So that goes in, and we're going to just do the 2 holes on the bottom, and we're going to use 10mm screws for those. One thing I want to note, before you put the ear in for screws, go ahead and test fit it. It's a very tight fit, and sometimes you might get some primer buildup in there that will change the tolerance. So you want to go in and kind of scrape that out a little bit. You're never going to see underneath that ear, so it really doesn't matter, but it will help it fit a lot more easily. Hold on to the ear this way. And there's a hole right there. Sometimes it's easier to start with the top one than the bottom one. Yep. Right in. Find the button. Okay, there's one. Alright, so that one's in. We'll go ahead and put the other side on, and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so now we're going to put the mid-ear covers on, and again we'll start on the right side. And basically they just slip on like this, right over the top. And they are held in place by 3 16mm screws, which we've already gone ahead and provisioned. So we're going to get them into their holes. Okay, cool. So there's that installed. Okay, so now for something easy. We've got the mid-ear cover for the left ear on, so now all we have to do is put the outer cover on. I am planning on making an antenna version of this mount, so maybe you don't want to glue it. Okay, so that ear is essentially done. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the rear vent. So I've got it partially assembled right now, basically to get this out. This is all just designed to slip together and stay in. So I'm pulling up very gently and then lifting this out, and then I'm going to slide this down, and we'll show how it installs. It's pretty simple. Got some little tabs on the back and a tab on the bottom. The tab on the bottom is kind of important and makes it so you have to put the rear vent in bottom first. Alright, here we go. So just give it a squeeze. So basically what I'm doing is I'm dropping this notch in first at an angle. Then I'm pushing this side in and then squeezing, gently squeezing in on this side until it goes around. And then just make sure it's all the way in. And that's all there is to it. Then, to put the detail part in, just slide it up under here very carefully, as high as you can go until you can't go any further. And then it should, you want to go up and then down. So we went all the way up, we got it over the bar down here, and then we pulled it down, and now it's not going to go anywhere. The last pieces are the blast shield. Basically, there's a hole on each side of the blast shield that the stems slot into. Now hopefully I've done enough prep on these to where they'll go in. Okay, so you can see, and it's working correctly. You want to make sure it's pushed in enough so you'll be able to get the visor shroud over the top, because it is kind of a tight fit.